60 years. It's a lifetime, isn't it? Long enough to see the world change in ways you never imagined. Long enough to build a family, a career, a home. And for me, it was long enough to have a friend who was more like a brother. His name was David. We met when we were just 7 years old, two scruffy kids with scraped knees and a shared love for building forts in the woods behind our houses. Our friendship was forged in the fires of childhood adventure. We were inseparable. We navigated the awkward teenage years together, learning to drive, fumbling through our first dates, and dreaming about the future under a canopy of stars. He was the best man at my wedding, and I was his. Our wives became best friends, and our kids grew up together like cousins. We were a unit, an extension of each other's families. David was the kind of friend everyone wishes they had. He was the anchor in my storms, the voice of reason when I was being stubborn, and the first person I'd call with good news. He knew my coffee order by heart and could finish my sentences. We had our own language, a mix of inside jokes and shared memories that no one else could ever understand. We'd seen each other at our absolute worst and celebrated each other at our best. From business failures to family tragedies, we were side by side. Our bond felt unbreakable, a constant in a world full of variables. We promised each other we'd be two old geezers in rocking chairs on a porch somewhere, complaining about our grandkids and reminiscing about the good old days. It was a future I took for granted, but life, as it often does, threw a curveball. It started small, a disagreement over something so trivial I can barely remember what it was about now. I think it was business-related. I had an idea for a small investment, and he thought it was too risky. I saw it as a lack of faith in my judgment. He saw it as me being reckless. It wasn't our first disagreement, of course. Over 60 years, you have plenty. But this time was different. Pride got in the way. Harsh words were exchanged. Words that were fueled by stress from other parts of our lives, but we aimed them at each other. The argument escalated, digging up old, half-forgotten grievances that had been buried for years. It was ugly. We both said things we shouldn't have. Things that cut deep because we knew exactly where the other's vulnerabilities were. The silence that followed was deafening. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. At first, I was stubborn. I told myself he would be the one to call. He was the one who was wrong. My pride was a fortress, and I refused to be the first to wave the white flag. My wife, Sarah, would gently nudge me. Just call him honey. You know you miss him. I'd brush her off, saying I was fine, that I didn't need him, but I was lying, mostly to myself. Every time the phone rang, a part of me hoped it was him. Every time I passed by our old fishing spot or heard a song we both loved on the radio, it was like a physical ache in my chest. I missed his laugh. I missed his terrible advice that somehow always made sense. I missed just knowing he was there. The months bled into a year, then 2. The fortress of pride I'd built had become a prison. The anger had long since faded, replaced by a hollow-hearted regret. I'd see his kids' photos on social media, graduations, weddings, the birth of his first grandchild. I was missing it all. I was no longer Uncle Arthur. I was just a ghost from his past. I had lost my compass, my other half. The shared history that had been the bedrock of my life was now just a collection of memories that brought more pain than comfort. I rehearsed the apology in my head 1,000 times. I'd pick up the phone, my thumb hovering over his name in my contacts, but I could never press the button. What would I even say after all this time? Was it too late? The fear of rejection was paralyzing. What if he hung up? What if he told me he'd moved on? The thought was more than I could bear. One Tuesday morning, I was drinking my coffee and scrolling through the local news online when I saw it. An obituary. David's name. It didn't register at first. It couldn't be him. It had to be someone else with the same name. But then I saw his picture, that familiar, crinkly-eyed smile looking back at me from the screen. He had a sudden heart attack. Gone. Just like that. The world stopped. The coffee cup slipped from my hand and shattered on the floor, but I didn't hear it. All I could hear was a roaring in my ears. The silence of the past 2 years was nothing compared to this. This was a forever silence. There would be no more chances, no apology, no reconciliation, no more good old days on a porch. I went to the funeral. I stood in the back, a stranger among the people who had been my second family. I saw his wife, his kids, his new grandchild he'd only known for a few months. Their grief was a tangible thing in the room, and mixed in with it was my own suffocating regret. I had let a stupid argument, a moment of foolish pride, rob me of my final years with my best friend. I had chosen to be right over being happy, over being a friend. I listened as people shared stories about David, about his kindness and his humor. Every story was a dagger to my heart, a reminder of what I had willingly thrown away. I had all those stories, too, 60 years of them, and I let them die in silence. Now, all I have are memories and a lesson learned far too late. I visit his grave sometimes. I talk to him. I tell him all the things I was too proud and too scared to say when he was alive. I tell him I'm sorry. I tell him I miss him. But the only answer is the wind rustling through the leaves. It's a lonely conversation. Don't make the mistake I did. Don't let pride be the tombstone of your relationships. Pick up the phone. Send that text. Write that letter. Apologize, even if you think you're in the right. Because, I'm telling you, the silence of regret is so much heavier than the weight of your own pride. 60 years can be gone in a flash, and you don't want to be left standing in the back of the room, wishing you had just one more day. Thank you for listening.